Hits USA from RPM. Our name says it all. Get the latest hits while they're the hottest. With Top Hits USA, you'll have the track for sure. Visit tophitsusa.com or call 800-521-2537 and get a free demo.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
All right, we are back for session number 4 tonight. That means we had 1 session, we had 2 sessions, we had 3 sessions, and now we're back for the most improved Monday night show ever. Why is that? Well, it's because Shani's on the left and Dan's on the right as you're looking at it. And if that doesn't make this show awesome, I don't know what does. Tonight in our crew, we've got MJ, we've got Shani, we've got Dan, and we've got myself. During this next 45 minutes with you, we are going to answer absolutely no questions. We are going to talk about what the importance of working on your cabs for the Victoria's Secret runway, and I'll tell you what I've been working on. That's going to be pretty exciting. And then Dan's going to share basement remodeling tips with you.
Hire somebody. There you go. There's your tip.
And I'm just glad to be here.
I'm glad everyone made it here. We are here. And you guys are with us in the chat room. If you're watching us out on Facebook, well, it sucks to be you because we're not going to follow the chat there. So you can go and you can write pretty much anything. And like maybe my grandma's going to watch it. I don't know, but it won't be me. And then, or you can go in there, click on show number 4 and come out and see us on YouTube. And when on YouTube, we'll see you in the chat room and we'll probably ignore you there too. But hey, at least you'll be there being ignored with everyone else.
I'm sorry, what were you saying, John? I was ignoring you.
Thank you.
What? Did the show start? What?
No, we haven't started yet. We're all ready to.
Okay.
Ready to.
Okay.
Good evening. Okay, so what's on the docket for tonight?
Well, John picked tonight's topic. He said that he's actually had some people that wrote in or messaged him, because people don't actually write anymore that I know of. They
messaged DJNTV.
Well, they could do it on an iPad now with the pen, or like as my Note 4 has the pen, I can write.
But
anyway,
so let's just look at the new Messenger app. Speaking of the ability to go and do things, and then I can go and I can now write on my face. Well, I'm on Messenger, so I could send me a note with my face on it, asking a question in Messenger.
Sometime during the show tonight, I will be sending John a picture of me with writing on it. So we'll wait to see how that turns out.
Okay, I'm just saying. I mean, there's so many ways you could send a message in, and a Messenger handwritten.
Yeah, you could use Kik, or there's lots of those for those of you who are younger or have younger people around you using Kik.
Boy, that's been a while. I haven't heard that
Did you
one.
say you wanted to kick me?
No,
Yeah.
Kik is it's an app that's used by like young people, young hip people. That's why MJ uses it.
My kids haven't talked about that one yet. I'm gonna have to look into that.
I think it might be actually past. The kids may not be into it anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of went on to the next thing. Yeah.
When it was there and gone.
But that's all the reason why I said it, because if I actually said the new stuff, y'all would be lost.
Yeah, we'd feel really, really old.
But anyways, they messaged John and said he gave a couple topics, and I went with this one. And it's about dealing with people who are rude or a pain in the gig, whatever gig you're at. And tonight we're going to talk about it. I feel that I will probably give better information from the side of the person being a pain than how to deal with being a pain. So you're probably going to get a lot more good information from Dan, Shani, and John tonight. But so I will be manning the chat rooms and writing people.
And you'll be putting in the emojis or whatever they are.
I will emoji it to death and back. There, I won't say a word without an emoji. I'm going to type a word, a letter, an emoji, letter, an emoji, letter, emoji all night long.
Oh, that's going to be great.
And then I'm going to get banned like 3 messages in.
By your own service. That'd be great. So Shani, Dan, we're going to talk about, because I've gotten some questions from people, and when you guys you can send questions in. I've had people messaging on Disc Jockey News, DJNTV, Facebook messaging, email, basically anything short of writing it on and sending it in on like cow skin, I'm good with. So send those questions in. But this is one that actually has come up a few times where you've got a venue that's difficult to work with, or people at the venue that are difficult to work with. And how do you handle that? Because there's going to be some things that pop up. And one actually that a gentleman talked to me last Thursday about, and I wanted to throw this out there of how we would handle this one. He goes into this venue, and the venue likes to have the DJ set up in a corner, kind of out of the way. And they want the DJ to plug into their house system, so that the sound from the board can go through the house system, and then it can cover the room. So first off, before we go in and talk about the problem with that he had, Shani, now you do a lot of stuff where you're traveling, and you're traveling with your board. So this is kind of common for you to be plugging into other people's gear. Is that correct?
Yeah. When I'm doing the corporate stuff, that's all I'm doing is plugging into, other gear. But it's different because with the corporate stuff, we have riders. So we know exactly what we're plugging into, because they sign off on the rider, and that's what I think I'm getting. Of course, sometimes I have been duped. And, when I asked for the 16-channel board and the 8-channel board is there, and I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work when we have all these, mics and countrymen and all this other stuff going on. Oh, it's okay. We'll on this, and then this will go on the same line. So yeah, that I don't like, but I've had situations like there's one venue here in Chicago. It's an old venue. Like I think it's been around longer than anyone's been alive. Like I think Jesus actually used to eat dinner.
Wasn't that the scene with the wine and the water? Didn't that happen?
Yeah, I think it actually happened at that venue.
Yeah.
Well, the guy that runs the venue likes to be the MC.
Oh yeah.
And I don't, thank goodness, I don't do a lot of weddings at this venue, but for all my friends in Chicago that have companies that do weddings, they just roll their eyes because he has to introduce the bridal party. Like he's the MC. Even though there is an MC from the DJ company, that the bride and groom met with, it's just his thing. Like the band leader, like he has to do the introductions, introduce like the blessings, the toast, the grace, everything. Now, is he a great MC? Would I ever book him as an MC? Is he like 100 years old now? Is he great on a microphone? But that's, yeah, but like if you do a gig there, that's what you have to deal with. And that's, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you have a contract with your bride and the groom and you have a clause in there. That's what you have to deal with, is when all that happens, he's the one on the microphone. And he'll even insist on using like the house mic that, comes through the little,
Yep.
department store speakers. Because you'll be at least use my microphone so it'll come through great speakers. But no, he wants to use his microphone. Yeah, no bueno.
Dan, have you ever? Yeah, go ahead.
I was just say, have your friends and whatever that have had to deal with him, have they talked to their clients ahead of time? Obviously, you're not going to be able to change his mind, but what do the clients say when they, you basically say, listen, this is what's going to end up happening. Are you aware?
Yeah, I mean, I know I have as soon as they tell me that's where their reception is, before we even talk about anything, that is the first thing I say. I say, you do know the person you're dealing with there. Not only is he your contact, but he's going to be your MC for all the formalities that are going to happen at the wedding. I'll try to overpower him, but of the 102 years that he's been there, it's not going to happen. We'll try to be the backup voice when he introduces and you're like, and coming in next, and you try to be like the person, but they'll try to argue. We'll talk to them. I'm like, okay, boo boo, you deal with that. You go talk to him, because it's not going to work. Like if I find a couple that actually can make it happen, I will blast it all over Chicago. So like, this is what you have to do. So they know, I mean, they know, and it's just because it's a beautiful looking old establishment and people think it's romantic, and that's why people go there.
Yeah. I hate that when they have the. I had a situation like that at the wedding I did a few weeks back, and in that particular venue, it's the owner of it is known for coming in and he welcomes everyone to the room, which I'm okay with. But in his welcome, he will then he does this for everyone. He thanks the bride. He tells a little bit of story. He wants to do his own little mini story about the bride and groom. The best way to describe it is like a mini love story, but it's not. And then he goes and introduces the caterer, and he introduces the photographer, and then he introduces the meal. That's the highlight of his talk, is introducing the meal. And he will go down the menu item by item, and he gives a color commentary to it. And the way the gal was talking, kind of came up and asked to use our microphone. They do have a nice sound system, but it didn't. And they were like, "Yeah, would rather use your microphone." Great. And I'm thinking, well, if this guy does this all the time, he's got to maybe be okay. Maybe. No, he was horrible. He was on there, and there was stutters and this and that. And well, maybe when he gets to the mealtime, because she said that everyone just loves it, and he gets a cheer when he's introducing, the carrots and the green beans and everything else that he introduces, and it's like people cheer for that. Okay, maybe he's really, really good at it, and he's selling it. No, he wasn't. He sucked. Nice man, don't get me wrong. I'd love to go work there again, but that's not his forte. His forte is putting the room together and making it look nice. But to go and tell him that, yeah.
Can your brides request that he doesn't say anything?
But we get back to that. The bride was told that he's really good at it.
Okay, you can just say, "Hey, I'm warning you. He's going to do it no matter what."
Yeah.
And let's absolutely say we're going to go somewhere else unless we have our hired person. I mean, would that work in that situation?
Oh, it probably would if it would have been something. That was my first time of playing there, so I did not know that. And obviously, for the future, I will know that. The chance of me being booked at that venue is probably fairly slim because it's quite a ways away, and it was more of a destination wedding from a couple from the UK flew to Minnesota because they wanted to have a early winter wedding in Minnesota. Like that was why would someone do that?
Sorry. How cold was it Saturday night there, John?
Yeah, it was Sunday night. It was 26 below. Yeah, we got down to 26 below. It's great. It was.
Yeah, for those in the chat room that have been saying like, "Oh, I would do this to the guy, I would do that to the guy," you guys first of all have to understand there's a lot of people that use this venue and they know what's going on. And the minute you do something to this guy or you sabotage him, you are no longer welcome at this venue and you're blackballed. Yep. And if you're blackballed there, you can be blackballed somewhere else because you don't play nice. Mm-hmm. And I understand the situation, especially me being very professional, that would I want him to be the MC? No. But if my couple knows going in that this is what has to be done, it has nothing to do with the party, it has nothing to do with the DJing, it has nothing to do with anything else, and they're okay with it, sometimes you just gotta just say, okay, new dealer, let's just do it. So all those people that are saying, well, I would challenge him, I would this, I would that, I would lock him in the closet. I know that was a joke, but you guys have to understand, like, this is our livelihood. Yep. And sometimes we work with photographers, we work with videographers, we work with venues, we work with caterers that rub us the wrong way. And if you're going to sit there and have an argument with clients in front of guests, in front of other people, in front of prospective clients, you got to kind of figure out what's the happy medium. The happy medium for everybody in Chicago is to be able to go into the venue and have their clients there, but no, this is the situation we're walking into, and the bride and groom know, and most of everybody else knows that he is not the MC that comes with the DJ company. Trust me, they all know that, he's not them. So, you got to deal with it, and it is what it is. Chicago is big, but it's small, like all the other places. That minute you hear one company that is not playing nice, nobody else wants to work with them. Party planners, caterers, venues, and then you find no work.
Mm-hmm. No, and that's a great point. There was another venue that is closer to us, and the old owner, that's what he did, because he came from the era of bands, and bands never did anything.
Right,
so
exactly.
He would introduce and he would do these different things, and he had this really crappy sound system. He had this really crappy persona on the microphone. It just was not good. But he was, by the time I got to start doing shows there, he was in his mid 60s. He had done it forever. And I had the conversation with some brides at that time saying, hey, you know, this guy's going to do this and he's not really that good at it. Is this what you want? And I go, oh, well, we're there and we have to have that. Well, no, it's your wedding. You can kind of dictate what you want. You're paying the bill, aren't you? Well, yeah, but we don't want to cause waves. And I bet I had 4 weddings that I had that conversation with. And it's like, okay, can we do something a little bit different then? Can we let him do, he wants to do his things before. Can we let him do that? And then we'll come back and do the wedding party introduction a little later. Can we change things around a little bit? And we worked around it, and that helped tremendously. But he had to have his mic time. And that was the same venue that in the middle of the dance, so the dance is going on. And the worst one, we were literally in the middle of a first dance. And he would go on, he'd go over his house system, and you'd all of a sudden hear, Bob Jones, phone call up at the bar during a first dance. That came up over there. I mean, and it would happen throughout the night, especially after 11:30. But the one that he did that over a first dance, and I could not. It's like, you've got to be kidding me. What? Go ahead, Dan.
I was just going to say, you know, my first glance was kind of like the guys in the chat room of just, you know, I can't believe it. You know, there's got to be something you got to do, whatever. And then, you know, then the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm just like, you know, listen, his house, his rules,
Yep.
and, you know, may not like it, but in the same respect, as long as it's somewhat clear that they're not with me, you know, this is the venue that's doing this. They do their thing. Yes, is it the best thing for your client? No, but if you warned your client and they're gonna just take it, then all right, let's concentrate on the other 95% of the night and just knocking everybody's socks off with this other thing. And yeah, it kind of digs a hole that you got to dig out of, but at least it's, you know, I'd rather be working at a venue if all the other things are good and I've got this one bad thing than 10 things that are horrible just so that I have a job.
Exactly. I mean, it's so true. Like I said, I mean, it's known. I mean, like I said, this guy has been there for years, and it's just a known thing. And instead of trying to fight it, which everybody has, it's not like I was the first one to try to do it. You know, if you're a great MC and you know how to facilitate a party, then you know what to say on a microphone without ruining his ego and putting him down and making him not like you anymore, but also making the whole entire event and party know exactly what's going on. So, you know, if you know how to do it the right way and the bride and the groom know what's going to happen, and either he's going to introduce the beans or he's going to make a thing on the microphone during the first dance. I mean, I've even heard the guy here in Chicago in the middle of the dance floor, he likes to do the old school where all the waiters carry the dessert out on a tray, like in the line with a sparkler. And it was like a packed dance floor. And he's like trying to push guests. He's literally pushing guests off the dance floor because he was trying to bring the brownies out, you know, like nobody cared about the brownies at that point. Like they just didn't, but he was getting mad because I was supposed to do it at a certain time and stop the music so they could do the tray with the sparklers. And, you know, he didn't care what was happening. And it, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes, you know, when I was early in the industry, I used to take everything personal. And anything that was going wrong, I used to always take it personal. This photographer dropped all their stuff over on top of my stuff, or they had their light shining bright, or this and that, or the videographer asked to plug in but never contacted me ahead of time, and we've had numerous conversations and wanted to come in. You know, I used to take everything personal. Now it's like I've learned, you deal with whatever it is, you just kind of brush your shoulders off, you roll with the punches, and you move on, and you do what's best for the party and for the client. And you just have to deal with it. And you can't take anything personal. The photographer could be an idiot, which I'm sure most of them, no offense to photographers, but we all know we've worked with those idiot photographers that either take up our space or their stuff is all a mess, or, you know, they're doing this and they look like they just woke up and they came to the event like that, and, you know, and everything. And you just gotta deal with it. You know, they're trying to take shots while you're doing something, and you want to push them out of the way because they're never going to get their shot if you don't get to do what you're doing, you know. And it's like that happy medium. You just got to take that deep breath and be like, all right, let's just, that's an idiot boo-boo, and I just have to move on, and I just, have to do what's best for my client to make their party the best party for them. Maybe talk to them afterwards about the idiot photographer, after the event, but we got to do it. And I know all these people are like, oh, I wouldn't do this and I wouldn't do that. And okay, well, stop trying, your egos. Like that to me, that's just the egos, and people are going to hear about it, and venues might not want to work with you. And, the high end party planners might not want to deal with you. You got to roll with it. That's what I say now. Take a deep breath and roll with it. Yes.
You mentioned in there that you might talk about to the client about them a little bit later. And that's an area in which I would really, really tread softly on, unless they came and said, hey, what did you think of? And I probably still would play it downplay it, unless they came and said, I was really unhappy about XYZ. And then it's like, well, I was too.
Yeah.
But
that's the only time if they, like a photo booth came in maybe 5 minutes before the reception was going on for a wedding, they weren't there at all during our setups, and the bride and the groom came in to take some pictures, and they looked at me and said, where's our photo booth? And I was like, I didn't know you didn't go through us, so I don't know where your photo booth people are. And the next thing you know, they come in and they were just sit there and complaining. And of course, they must have had a package where the photo booth was only staying for maybe like 3 hours or something, so they weren't there for the whole party. And the bride says something to me, and I was like, if you want my honest opinion, you need to go over there and say something and say they have to stay for the whole party now, because they're not set up. They were, everybody's coming in. They're not set up for cocktails. Yeah. And that's really when you wanted the photo booth really big to happen, was during cocktails. So I never say something unless they say something to me first. Because I like I said, I don't want to burn the bridges. I just know who I wouldn't work with, and or I just try to get them to do everything through us if possible. Yeah, I tread very lightly with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because that can definitely backfire on a person very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Very, very quickly. So, getting back to the gentleman that I had the long conversation with, he mentioned, of course, plugging into the house system. And what had happened in that particular situation is that it went from in the wall to their amplifier, and from their amplifier into 70-volt speakers. Well, if you're familiar with those types of sound systems, they have a very narrow volume range, let's put it that way, that they're meant for background music. They're not meant to have music going through it like a DJ system does. So when they hook it up and you've got your volume all set here, you're great. But once the DJ started to push, he was now overriding their amplifier, and their amplifier was cutting out. And because it was through the whole system, now the bride was able to hear that this music was cutting out, and he was having problems with it. And his he's like, what? It wasn't my fault. It was their amplifier that was cutting out, or what can I do about it? And it's those types of situations that, in this particular case, there was, if he would have, had a better understanding of what was there and familiar with his gear, he would have known that instead of putting it on his master volume, he should have put it on a booth out, and then he could have had that lower, and he probably could have succeeded. There were some other things he talked about, and we're going to talk about those with Ben Stowe tomorrow night. By the way, here's a plug for tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. We're doing an Ask Ben Stowe show tomorrow night. And then we'll have Brian Red afterwards. So tomorrow night, Ben Stowe, 9 o'clock Eastern.
Have your Jedi questions ready.
Exactly. And I'll interpret from...
And spoilers from the new movie. So.
I say, for all clarification, do not ask him Rogue One questions. Well, you could, I guess, but you're not going to get anything else tonight.
I am the Force. The Force is with me.
Yeah.
Stop. I haven't seen it yet.
So, Jimmy, I know, making that never use a house PA. I know a few DJs who have used that as supplemental for dinner time, and they've used it wonderfully. And there are some places that, that venue that I was talking about where the guy did the introducing the green beans, he was pretty adamant at the beginning that he wanted to have me plugged into their system so that his system, and he had some nice looking speakers. It wasn't a 70-volt system. He was kind of adamant that he really wanted me to plug in, and it's like, okay, I see what you have, and it looks nice, sir, but first off, we have 50 guests. We don't need to have this whole room covered that way. Secondly, are you looking at what I have for a sound system here? This isn't cheap stuff that's going to sound terrible.
Here's a thought, and I know a lot of DJs that I know will do this to the sub so that they can control the sub a little bit better. I know I've done it at a couple different places where I'll split off, run my mains, and then if your board has a booth out, run their system off the booth, so you can run it on a totally separate volume level.
Yeah.
And if you want to be sneaky, sneak it down just a little bit every little bit till it's gone. But that's always an option if you are forced to do that in a situation like that. Set that on a separate volume so that you can maybe use the both, make them happy, and still not have it crackling in the background.
Exactly, and that works. That's one way to use it. That's the best way to do it. And the second thing I would add to that to make that a successful thing is Ben Stone. I've done this show is talking about wireless audio. And the problem you have is when you plug into some house systems is that now all of a sudden you've introduced more electronics and wires that are running through the ceiling, and you could pick up light noise. Running a wireless signal from your board, output of the booth outs into a little wireless pack, and then having the receiver over there, that type of thing, is going to really cut down on a lot of weird noises and weird anomalies, which is another problem this gentleman had, is because he ran hardwired into the wall, and then that was he was hearing buzzes and clicks and different things, and there's just so many little variables, and if you're going to do that, you want to try to do it as right as possible. Otherwise, you have complaints. You end up having people saying, we want some money returned, man. It didn't turn out like we wanted it to.
Yeah, I mean, the only time we really go through a house system is if the venue is a nightclub and it's, a house system we know, and, we're just using all their stuff there. And, we might bring like our own mic, but we use all their stuff there. But there have been venues where, a client will turn around and say to us, oh, they have their own system. So, you guys don't need to bring that stuff. So we get a discount, right? They do that thing with us. But, we turn around.
When that happens,
right?
I cringe when they say that.
But, and I try to explain without saying like, no, I sit there and I explain to them, I'm like, unless they have their own engineer that's staying on site, that's running their soundboard with our DJ, that's the only way we're going to use their house system. We do not use other people's equipment. We cannot troubleshoot other people's equipment, and we don't trust other people's equipment. So our answer would be no, unless they have their own sound engineer that's there, that's going to be staying right next to us and our tech. If not, then we're bringing it just like you're having it at a banquet hall or a hotel, and we're using our professional system that will have no issues and you'll be happy with it. Oh, I don't think they're going to have a sound engineer on site. Yeah, they didn't say that. Yeah, then we can't do that. We'll bring our system. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just thought maybe because they had it, you would want to use it, because it's there. Nope.
It can be convenient. I mean, that's
right.
that's
of course.
That's the nice thing.
I'm so sketchy sometimes just for reliability only.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's
a whole entire crew that they just have to drive their own cars, and their call time's like an hour before. I mean, like they would all be like, yes, and they get to like leave after a party. But like I said, the only time that happens is if we're in a club and we don't even need to have our techs. Then our techs aren't even working that day, and it's just our performance staff. But like we said, I mean, we don't touch other people's equipment. We don't troubleshoot other people's equipment. I've had to do that with montage equipment, with projectors, with screens that, we'll just bring ours from our house. We got a really good deal on Black Friday.
Yep.
So we'll bring it. And who's setting? And then I always say, okay, and then who's setting it up? We will. Really? You're going to like leave your own party to like go in the hall and grab the screen and projector and set it up? Yeah, I don't think so, because people are just being cheap sometimes, or, we just thought if we use this, like, we get like $500 off or something.
I will say I've had a comeback for that I heard. I fortunately have not had to use it where they've asked a discount for using something else. But, I've had a lot of DJ friends who say, you're getting me. All the equipment that I use to project me is free, but you're paying for me, and just, treating it from that standpoint. So that way, then it's like, if they're not getting a discount anyway, then go ahead and use you. But we have a venue here local that, they had house DJs for the longest time for all of their events. And I've known the owner and talked with them and stuff like that. I get along great with them, and, got to the point where he had, it was like a class reunion, and he was just like, my guys are booked. He's like, can you come in? I was like, sure. He's like, we have the system. I said, okay. And it was an old nightclub. I shouldn't say an old nightclub. It was a nightclub a few years ago that kind of went out. I went in, I plugged in, I played. I kept hearing this crack every once in a while. Like the speaker would drop out, and I'm like it wouldn't drop out enough, but it was enough that I was like noticing it. And I'm like, And we go back there for that fundraiser that I was talking to you guys about in the beginning. And he's just like, yeah, you can use our system and everything else. And I said, I'll just bring mine. And he's like, I'm like, don't worry about it. I said, I can control mine. And it was like, I had to be extra delicate because I didn't want to burn the bridge there.
Right.
I just wanted to say, I'm sorry, you got something wrong with your speakers. Like, they tried, I said, something just doesn't sound right. I'm not sure what it is. Like, I tried to be all coy about it, but it just didn't work. So fortunately I brought in my own system. Everything was fine. And then now that he's having me back. So it's a good sign, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna, so this can be ended. I'm just gonna go in the chat. I know Reggie keeps asking about where's there a list for the blacklisted DJs. MJ, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, there is a blacklist. It's called Craigslist.
Yeah, I mean, basically, there's not like, it's not like a known list, and for sure DJs can't see the list. I mean, that's just like, if you go in like certain private chat rooms and stuff like that, like if a venue doesn't like you, you're blacklisted.
Yep.
Like there's no list, like you're blacklisted, and they might call their friends and say, I had this issue, and now you're blacklisted from that venue. So it's not like there's like a list, like Santa's list that's like, going around or anything. But yeah, like I found out from a venue a certain company was blacklisted because they told me that they had issues and that company is no longer welcome, and a client wanted to have their event there and wanted to use this DJ company. And they said, you are more than welcome to have your event here, but we don't let that DJ come here. So if you want to go somewhere else, you can, or we can give you a preferred vendor list of people. So I would be more concerned that you want to be on a preferred vendor list than worry about a blacklist. Like, always work for the positive and try to be on preferred vendor list, because the blacklist, don't even worry about. That's something you don't want to be on, and that's all word of mouth type stuff, and you don't want to deal with any of that. And don't worry about people who are blacklisted. Worry about, how can I get on a preferred vendor list? So venues of people who don't have DJs yet, they'll say, oh, you really need to use this company, call them right now. And they call you and you say, can I ask what you heard about me? And they said, from the blah, blah, blah venue. And you're like, yes, thank you. So worry more about that. Worry about the positive stuff.
Speaking of Craigslist, they're talking about Craigslist is sucking and such. I actually was talking to a DJ company last week who uses Craigslist and uses it kind of effectively, but in a way that you wouldn't quite imagine. In their town, they have an ad in there talking about hiring entertainment for your wedding, and they've got an inexpensive entertainment for your wedding. But they're not an inexpensive company. And what they're doing with the Craigslist is that they're having people call and contact them. Sometimes their salespeople that answer that particular phone will be able to talk and find out about them, and maybe it's because they're uneducated in what it means to hire a DJ. And they've actually had a few people that they have moved over to their real company. But what he said that they use it mainly for is that they can get, and they can establish a list of people who are into the Craigslist and that they're looking for that type of DJ. Then they go to the bridal show in 2 weeks after, and they run into that same bride. Well, they've already talked to that bride. They know that particular bride is probably not going to be someone that's not their client. So now they don't need to waste any more time marketing or following up or doing anything to that effect, unless the bride is now interested in that level of service. But he said it really helps us to weed out a lot of suspects, and then we can focus on what could be prospects. And I thought that's kind of an interesting way to do it. So anyway, so Craigslist, it isn't horrible bad across the board if you use it. It's a tool, and sometimes it can be used by almost anyone.
But it's really easy to mock. That's all I'm saying. It's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it is. It's easy to mock and such. And my small town has more than 200 people. It's got 365, and it has a Dollar General.
Oh, half of them are his.
They have that now.
We've got a Dollar General, and my family, the first day we knew it was open, which was actually day 4 of it being open, I think my family, the 8 of us, I think that we were there like 6 times that day.
Because they kept forgetting something, or they kept wanting to go back?
It was I stopped
It's a new place. He dressed up. He got his Sunday best on. They come out of the mountains.
I
They
had a
park at the
tie
park.
on, and I shined my shoes.
Oh, I love it.
It was just,
love
'cause
that.
then the kids would come home, and then it's like, oh, can we go? And then, okay, jump in a car, and we take some kids out.
Now, Dollar General is not where everything is a dollar, right?
No, this is Dollar General's a competitor for Walmart. The
Okay.
idea is that they're
Well, it's the best way to describe it is it should be named Food and Stuff.
yeah.
Well, we have a couple in Chicago. They're just not by me. But we also have like the dollar stores that aren't really dollar stores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
have to
has
be
really
careful
nothing to
when
do with the dollar
You
store.
have to like be careful when you walk in those places. But I'm the one that goes in there and go. I go to the real dollar stores that like everything is a dollar, and I'll walk in and I'll just keep holding something up and going, "How much is this?" And she'll go, $1. And I'm like, "Thank you." And I'll go down another aisle and be like, "How much is this?" $1. And I'll be like,
so
"Okay,
Shani-
thank you."
Shani works very hard not to be blacklisted from venue halls, but she is not. She is not beyond getting blacklisted from
No.
dollar stores.
Not
If you
at
see
all.
this woman come in, do not.
My
Not
picture
served.
like this.
Serve.
Oh,
I'll be like, "How much is that picture of me?"
I'm sorry, ma'am. You need to go now.
Go now. You be here full hour.
Oh, let's see. Let's see. Let's give some updates of what we've got coming up here, because we've got next weekend is Christmas weekend, but next Monday night we're going to be back December 26th, and that night what we want to do, gang, is kind of brainstorm as a group on different topics you guys would like us to dig into. And we're going to be changing a little bit of our look and feel and some of our focus, we're going to call it, into 2017, and going to be adding a little bit more on we've been doing some Wednesday night things. We've been toying around with mixing and different things with that, and we're going to put more of a focus on that in 2017. And Shady doesn't know, but she's going to be actually doing 4 shows a week. And one of them is going to be, her mixing on her this Pioneer controller, then this Pioneer controller, and then we're going to send her a Hercules controller that was like one of the first generations one, because she said she can mix on anything.
I did.
She did.
Bring it.
Yeah, we
Bam.
we
Bring
listened.
it.
We listened, and she's good. So that'll be next Monday, and yeah, and then MJ and his weird controllers. So that we're going to do that next Monday night. So if there's, as you guys are going through the week, and if there's something, you're seeing topics that aren't covered, or areas in which you think that DJs would like to know more about, and then maybe even what someone getting into the world of wanting to move from maybe a wedding DJ where you're just fading in and out of songs, and you want to go into a mixed world where you're going to be playing in a club and you need to be at that level for a club performance, which is different than a mobile wedding DJ in some cases. That's going to be our discussion next Monday night, and we'd really like to get some input from you guys on what you're thinking and what your thoughts, what you're seeing, and that's going to help give us some direction as we go into 2017.
Yeah, I know MJ brought this up, last week. Please give us, ideas and topics that you guys want to know about, that you guys, want us to talk about and everything, because that's what we're here for. I mean, the other shows definitely are geared towards, what John and that person's talking about. And our show definitely is more geared about what you guys want to hear and want us to talk about. We're here for you.
I'm here for the boops.
Wait, the what? Wait, you're here for the what?
Yeah, you got it.
I think he
You
said
gotta say it a
booth.
little slow, because I think I heard that wrong.
I think he said booth.
I heard it right.
I'm pretty sure he said booth. He's here for
He
the
said
booth.
he's here from the DJ booth.
Booth. Okay.
Booth.
Yes.
Yes.
Boom.
Yeah. The top 50 polka songs, and Reggie, I think actually I could probably give you about 100 of them, because I'm sure he's in the same vicinity. At one time, back in CD world, I had, I think, 75 different polka CDs, polka old time CDs in my collection. Because it was
scared.
It was, and I could do full polka nights, and it's amazing. And maybe we will have to do that, talk about that more. But it's amazing that you can do it, but it's a completely different playback style than.
I think I might be sick that night. It could be like a year from now. I just think I don't know. I think I have to wash my hair.
Yeah, you're feeling a little coming on.
would be in the background beat matching the whole night just to annoy the people who don't want to hear.
Trying to beat match a waltz step.
No, they are all in that, and you can, because I've done that before to show people that anything can be mixed if it's in the same BPM genre. And people are like, oh no, it's 3/4 time. Watch, I can do that too. Anything is mixable. Saturday night I did a gig where it was at a big ski lodge, so it was a lot of all ages there, and it was kind of, I would describe it as wedding music, and I mixed it, and it just, you can, and that's one of the things we want to talk about in these possible future shows is mixing. In anybody, you can do it. You can learn. Don't think you
can do it.
You can do it. You can learn. Hosted by what's hosted by MJ? You can run 4 mixers and
No, that was for my Cuisinart. I mean
that's her 4 nights of.
I'm mixing on a KitchenAid.
Oh,
nice.
It was one of those recalled Cuisinarts or whatever it is. You got recalled. Sorry. Those of you who don't know and you own a Cuisinart mixer, you should see if it's been recalled.
WAB mentioned can do a whole country night. Speaking of country night, MJ is going to be excited about this. Next Monday night before the DJNTV show. So by the time we get to the DJNTV shows, he's going to be so fired up with this show. We're going to have, I've got Joshua Dirksen that's going to be on. And Joshua is known, he's a remixer. He's VDJJD. And what he is, his real claim to fame is remixing and redrumming country music videos or country music. But he also does some 90s stuff and he does some 80s stuff. And this man is very, very talented. And you wouldn't guess, I think he's from Utah or Idaho, but I mean, it's this guy out in the middle of nowhere. And he's a very accomplished music mixer. A lot of the mixes out there that are on the different pools and such are his mixes. They're used nationally with some touring artists and things. The guy's got some skills. We're going to talk country music first off for your dance floor, which is not going to really deal with a lot of remix stuff. It's going to be more of giving some ideas if you're not into country music. That's going to be going on at 8:30. Because I think at 8 o'clock, at 9. He's doing the 9 to 10 o'clock hour. So the first half will be talking country music. Second half we're going to talk remixing and how he does it, what he's doing with it, and he's going to be talking about more of the behind the scenes and what got him into that. So,
not to change the subject really quick, but to change the subject.
Thank you. Anything is better than.
I didn't mean it like that. But did anybody see the clip from the Red Bull, the championship?
Oh my gosh!
With the guy that didn't win.
I wanted to do a show on. Those of you who don't know, you got to go see it. It was pretty crazy. Best way you can describe it is he was showing off that he doesn't need all these fancy things. He doesn't need a laptop, and he grabs his MacBook, busts it over his knee.
Literally he unplugs, he made a big show. This was the start. And then, mind you, this is the championship. This is like the championship, the championship. Where, and he wanted to do a big show about, I'm old school and this and that. And then he's like, I don't need a computer, takes his computer. So people thought they were just going crazy because he unplugged it. So he unplugs the USB, unplugs the power. Then he literally breaks it over his knee. The computer literally, that MacBook
pieces and goes.
But I was just watching, I think tears were going down my eyes. They weren't funny tears. They were I was like this. Oh my God. Did he just break a MacBook? Oh my God. And the sad part is he didn't even win.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a real MacBook. It was legit. He wanted to make it as authentic as possible because he thought he was going to win. And he did not win. The guy that won, it was incredible, but he didn't win, but it's been going all over social media.
It was came out quick.
The 30 seconds of him just breaking that MacBook over his knee.
Wow.
I remember years ago, and I can't remember who it was, if it was Mixmaster Mike or somebody, when they come out with the Pioneers, the very first scratchable Pioneer, Pioneer had them do a demo of it where the guy's scratching and he picks it up with the cords plugged into it and starts walking out in the middle of the stage scratching. It's all this great thing, and everybody's cheering. He's doing all this. All of a sudden, he goes, I didn't plan it. It just became a rock star moment. He finishes the scratch, takes the CD jam, slams it on the stage, and walks off.
And the mic drop begins.
I guess people just try to do that rock star moment of like them breaking the guitars and.
I've seen guys do that with headphones in clubs. I watched a guy do that, get all excited, slam them on the ground.
When I get done with my tea,
Right,
I crinkle that bottle.
Next time you guys get done with dinner, I want you to take that plate, Greek style, and just throw it in and yell, "Opa!" You know, I mean, like, it's like, I mean, I understand the passion, and like when you're in the moment, and it's like I get that, but that's when I'll just hands in the air and just hit like the pose or something. But I mean, to break something like that, whether it's mine or it's somebody else's, like I don't care. I don't care if you're in the moment or not. That's called stupidity, and that's called being an idiot.
It made him famous, and I guarantee he's going to get jobs where he's hired to not DJ with a laptop, and he's going to be famous and make a lot of money off that.
Yeah, no, it definitely made him famous. I know he was upset he didn't win, but he's now YouTube and social media famous.
That or Apple will send somebody.
Yeah, I forgot where he was from. I forgot what country he was from, but I just couldn't believe it.
Does it swear in there? Can we play the track? Because I don't know if it swears or not. So
I think because he might say, "I don't need no laptop," and I wouldn't.
Go look for it. It's everywhere. Just look for DJ smashing. It's Red Bull, right?
Yeah, it was and it was just this,
or was it?
Or go to like Jazzy Jeff's page or Scratch Bastard's page or like any of the famous DJs.
Who was the one guy? Yeah,
it's on everybody's. Like everybody just like put it out there, the same clip. Yeah, craziness. But anyways, okay, back to our talk. I just had to put that on there since it was this weekend.
Who was that? The Z-Trips was the one I saw it on, but I can't remember.
I saw it on Jazzy Jeff's. I saw it on Questlove, Scratch Bastards. I saw it on all of theirs.
Yeah, I think it's Red Bull.
It's the Red Bull. It's definitely the Red Bull one. I mean, I even saw it on like Zico was his name, and it was on the Red Bull Freestyle Championship. I wasn't sure if it was that or if it was one of the Pioneer ones. But yeah, Zico. It's like 25 seconds long. Yeah,
longer you need.
Yeah, I mean, it literally is on Instagram too. So like, it's that short that you could watch the whole thing on Instagram. Like it's just it's crazy.
Here, I'm going to share it without the audio, just so you see it. For those of you expecting audio, he's like shouting at the crowd.
Yeah, just do your own Kung Fu movie audio.
Yeah, so he's like, he disconnects right there. He disconnects the audio mixer there, and then there's the laptop. I don't need no laptop. I don't need no.
MJ, can you just shut the volume off on it, and you should.
And boom.
Like I'm just watching it himself right now.
I was gonna say,
no, you're not sharing it.
Oh man, let's try this again.
There we go.
I thought I was sharing it.
He's like, no, you don't need it. You don't need.
He unplugs the media thing. You
don't need a DJ with a laptop. You don't need this at all. No. Watch this. I unplug, and after that, I'm an idiot right now. Yeah. And the crowd goes crazy because he's an idiot. He gets the biggest boop from me for that one. That is a boop. You're an idiot.
That was a 15-inch MacBook Pro.
Yeah, I told you tears, and they weren't happy tears. They were going down my.
I'm hoping some of the henchmen from Apple go and kind of bust his kneecaps up a little bit.
Microsoft sent him like 4 PCs.
Yeah, Microsoft is a big sponsor come Monday.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I thought it was cool because to me, he's setting himself apart right there.
Yeah,
I mean,
we are artists, so he just created a moment of art there. Period.
It was a great opening. It's just that his set wasn't.
Yeah.
The best set.
Yeah.
Yeah, $3,000 down the tube there.
So for real. I mean, who knows? That might have been like a terabyte inside that would have been like 3,500 right there.
If he was smart, he would have just gotten like a cheap Craigslist one and then did that. Maybe
like somebody wrote an old damaged one, like one that like somebody's selling for $100 or something.
Who knows? Maybe it was.
Go to the back of the Apple store that they just, the geniuses just threw one out or something.
Well, don't Mac guys go through computers fast anyways? A lot of them. So.
Some do.
I want the new one. Sorry. I have nothing against Mac guys. I'm just saying.
It's okay.
You're fans.
I didn't take it personal.
You're fans.
Oh, we got to wrap her up here, gang. Again, tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Eastern, we've got Ask Ben Stowe. If you've got any questions, you'll be able to come into the chat room and ask those questions. Then we'll have the Tuesday night Brian Red show coming on at 10 o'clock Eastern. Tomorrow night, we're going to be talking about, I thought we had a topic. It escapes me. Anyway, we'll be publishing these all tomorrow, the topics and such, because I was at a doctor's appointment today, so I didn't get to do much after this afternoon. Wednesday night, we're going to be off. We were going to do a mix show, but I should be recovering from hopefully my last eye surgery. So there will be
John, who's doing the mix show?
there won't be anyone. Not
I thought
this
He's not doing one because his eyes.
I thought he said he's doing one. I'm like, no one.
No. I'm hoping that we'll I don't know if we'll do one next week or not. And then after the first of the year, I want to get into that virtual DJ and digging into that a little bit more, because I think there's a lot of interest in that. And kind of going from there.
Hopefully next year you guys will start seeing me on the mix show too.
Yes.
Yeah, we definitely have people asking about this. I've had countless people after we've done a few of those ask, when are you putting out a DVD? So we'll do them in non-DVD form, because no one should be touching DVDs or CDs anymore unless for some reason you're stuck on a desert island. Just transfer them, Shani.
I still have a VCR.
I do too, but it's to transfer old stuff off for Throwback Thursdays and stuff
If
like
it means anything, I watch my kung fu movies on there because that's the only way I mean,
that. Online now. But we'll be doing it so that you can go online if we do them. So, but who knows? But we definitely like there's a lot of us here who are passionate about mixing, and we want to help you have the same amount of fun we do. So,
And show you what that cool button does on the controller. All right, we're going to wrap things up. MJ, Shani, Dan, thank you for being on. Thank you guys for watching. We will catch you tomorrow night and, of course, next Monday night, where we have our...
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes.
Happy for those that celebrate Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah too, because that actually falls on Christmas.
It does.
It does this year.
And it's on a weekend. So, hey, it'll be great.
And happy Kwanzaa.
sorry.
Good night, everyone.